This next conversation is so interesting that we're going to have. We're with hacking security expert Gregory Evans, who has been involved in hacking since a young age. Tell us a little bit about your background, which will lend to your expertise.
I actually learned self-taught when I was in the 7th grade. When I was in 8th grade, I literally, kid you not, my mom would testify to this, I was changing grades in school. And by the time I was in the 9th grade, I became what they called a hacker for hire.
So you changed grades by going into the system, you mean?
Right, and charging the kids to change the grades. And then changed the wrong kid's grades one day. His dad was a big Washington, D.C. mogul, an attorney, and asked me, hey, I know what you did. Either you can do some stuff for me and my law firm under the table, or I'll tell the police and you'll go to jail. So I did it for him. He paid me $1,000, and I think I was in the 8th grade, and that was a lot of money back then.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so I used to put the money, and he was paying very well. My parents thought I was doing something wrong.
And that fed that fed into sort of a life of crime,
high-tech crimes. So it wasn't just computer hacking, like during AOL, if you remember them, when they used to have problems with busy signals and people were, well, a telephone company came to me and said, hey, can you get 800 numbers because we want to contract with them. And I did that, and that led to me going after AT&T, Sprint, MCI, and WorldCom and hitting them for $1 million a week. Back in the 90s.
My goodness.
So you ended up serving time for this, right?
Yeah. How much time did you serve?
24 months, and my restitution after they took back houses, cars, planes, and everything else ended up being $10 million.
Wow. So now, fast forward to today.
Yes.
And you're no longer on the bad guy's side. You're on the good guy's side.
That was 17 years ago. And what's funny about it is that I teach that same FBI group. I do federal law enforcement conferences every year where I do training to FBI, DEA, Secret Service, you name it. So I go around doing all of this. The same thing I used to do now that
you do.
How did you end up from being in jail to working for the FBI? Did they approach you? Did you?
No, it wasn't even that. I started my own company.
You started your company?
No, I didn't want to work for them. They would have to pay me if they wanted to. I wasn't going to do it for free.
Okay, so enough about that. You've got my street cred here. You established your street cred. So let's look at the Home Depot's the latest. We talked about Target happening. 56 million cards compromised.
That's correct.
Why is there such a breach happening with these major corporations that you would expect them to have security in place?
Well, the problem is, and the reason why it's going to get worse before it gets better, is because these guys do not have hackers protecting their system. The people who have these fancy degrees, who work for Home Depot, work for Target, who even work for Sony, they learned everything in a book. Well, you and I can read the Lakers playbook, and we can do that for 5 years. That does not make us a professional basketball player at the end of those 5 years. These guys go to school, they read about hacking, but if you ever ask them, have you ever hacked into a system where the other person didn't know you're doing it, even if it was your girlfriend, they'll say, no, that's illegal. Well, you'll never meet a race car driver that's never had a speeding ticket either. You see what I'm saying? So how can you protect me? So
you say one of the places we should not go, or well, let me rephrase that. When we go to be careful of certain like restaurants or gas stations or ATMs. Why so? Why are they a point of vulnerability for us?
Well, because one, you have the human process, all right? Meaning that I hand my credit card to you at a restaurant. That person goes in the back. What are they doing with your credit card?
What are they doing with it?
That's no different than you using your credit card online. You don't know what the person's doing on the other end. For instance, I have a skimmer here. And with this skimmer, you can literally record over 1,000 credit card numbers. So someone working a very popular restaurant, bar, whatever else, can be, every time they take your credit card in the back, they could be actually recording your credit card.
That actually happened to me at a restaurant where they were then got the information and sold that information.
Right.
The police came to us and told us that's what happened with ours. What is, I'm sorry, this skimmer is what? What is that an illegal thing to get?
No, actually it's not illegal because you can use a skimmer to read the magnetic strip of a whole bunch of different things, like your ID to get on the lot or something of that sort. So, and you can reprogram the information that it reads, and that's what people do.
Well, this morning, because I read your things last night, and I went to the gas station this morning, and I really thought about putting my card into that machine because you scared the heck out of me after reading everything. Why is it putting your card into that machine bad for you as well in a gas station?
Well, It's not bad putting it in. You have to look physically and see what you're putting it in. I use this skimmer, and you can see at the bottom of here, I use 2 popsicle sticks, and I stuck it directly onto a gas station pump, doing it as a demonstration, to see if people are going to notice that when they're sliding their card into the machine, it's sliding through the skimmer first. This was sticking up. Do you know we collected over 50, I think it was 52 credit card numbers in that one day just watching? I was doing it for a news segment. And we collected that.
But it doesn't get them. It doesn't give them the gas, right? I mean,
no. When they slide it through, when they slide the card through, they slide it all the way through, and it still goes into the pump. And then it pulls it back up, and it just reads your card. Oh. So, and the only thing it's doing is reading the card numbers. End of the day, you take that, plug it into your computer. You have all these different credit card numbers.
So, what if I have a PIN? How do they get that? If I have that, but I can swipe it, but now see, PIN numbers are totally different. In order to get a PIN, they literally have to have you enter your PIN. Like it's what I was giving a little tip about. When you go into a store, and I don't care where you are, and you go and type in your PIN number, whenever you get that receipt, people think that they're safe because they look at their receipt and they notice all their digits are blocked out except for the last 4.
Right.
But they don't know that the merchant can print that receipt again with your full credit card number. Now, what some merchants will do, and I'm not saying very small percentage for the ones that are a little unethical.
But
what they can do is point that security camera that's in the dome directly at the keypad. So every time you type in your PIN number, they'll record it. Then at the end of the day, they'll look at all their receipts and the date and time, play back the cameras, okay, to that exact date and time, and now they have your PIN number. So what you should do is whenever you're typing in your PIN number, even if you're doing it at a regular ATM machine, cover up. If you're right-handed and you're typing in your PIN number, use your left hand and cover it up so no one knows what your PIN number is.
Okay, what can we do to ensure our security, because you're kind of freaking us all out here?
Well, yeah, because you use credit cards all the time, checks even,
Yeah, and you got to stay away from checks. You definitely have to stay. Well, checks are dangerous. Just made me have flashbacks of the old days.
Why
checks are so dangerous because when you get a check, and with technology today, I can take your check that you write. You write one to your gardener, or if you're writing one to the gas company and someone stole your mail, or the one who's processing and opening up the mail at the gas company, and he's looking at those checks. I can take your routing number and your account number and put it into a program, let's say like QuickBooks, which is very popular, or Quicken. And now put my name, an address on the check, and reprint your checks. Now, even though it doesn't have your signature on it, I'm not taking it to your bank. I'm taking it to another bank. I'm taking it to a check cashing place. All right? And I sign the check, but the money is coming directly out of your bank account.
Wow.
Wow. Yes. I feel very vulnerable at this point.
You should. You should.
So how much of this do we, I mean, you said at the open of the show, they're never going to catch these guys.
Correct.
Right? Like you feel, in your opinion, the big guys are not going. So what chance do we have in protecting ourselves? What can we do?
Well, I think right now, all your viewers who are watching this, that's step one. You have to be educated on how these guys do it. So then you know how to protect yourselves. One of the things that I mean is really big. I tell people, even at church, I go to a very large church, and you go pay your tithes or offerings, you can use your debit card there. Well, back in 2006, I put a press release out that's still in Google, you can find it, that talked about hackers have been breaking into mega churches and stealing all their credit card numbers every Monday. They were specific when they said on Monday. They said the pastors perform on Sunday and taking all the money, and on Monday, they're processing checks electronically now, and they're processing all the credit cards right there at all these major mega churches.
For gifts, I will give the prepaid Visa, you know, because I don't want to send cash through the mail or anything like that. But you'd say we should be doing that personally.
Yes.
Why?
I believe in prepaid credit cards. If you're shopping online, if you're even during the holidays.
Why? Yeah.
Because two things it does, and your money advisor let you know this as well. One, it helps you set a budget. Okay, if you only want to spend $1,000 on gifts for Christmas, you can just put $1,000 on your card.
Okay.
Okay.
Then.
Now, when you're shopping online, or if you shopped at Target last year and you spent that $1,000, Now Target gets hacked, they have your credit card number. No, they don't have your credit card number. They have the prepaid credit card number, and you've already charged up all the money on that prepaid credit card. And that's the same thing. Before I shop online, even the bills that I may pay online, I'll go right over to CVS or Walgreens or a 7-Eleven and get a prepaid credit card and pay it that way.
Wow. All right.
Or use cash.
Excuse me?
You can use cash.
What is cash?
I don't
It's like, what is
know.
cash
We don't
anymore?
know.
You've got to come
There's
back.
so many things.
Yeah, you have to come
Terrence
back.
told me something about it. I think I remember.
Can you stick around because we got a little bit later in the show? I want to ask you about the new iPhone thing. There's so much. Can you hang out
Sounds
a little bit?
great. I look forward to it.
Perfect. More of Greg's tips. How to keep that private information private and safe. Go to our website, homeandfamilytv.com, or go to GregoryDEvans.com. A wealth of information there. Wow, that I don't know how I feel right now. There's
never
a lot
going
of
shopping
information,
again.
Right? We can go to the movies though, and Tanya can lead the charge.
Yes, well, Ava's excited, right, Ava? Yay! And I'm excited, and we're going to show you our DIY movie drive-in theater for kids coming up.